at 5:30 p.m. We're going to change our agenda slightly. We're going to put public comments first. So if you'd like to have public comments, please come to the mic here and recognize yourself. Remember, there's 3 minutes per speaker. So we're now at public comments.
I'll go first. Just in regards to anything, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ramona Vicudis. I live in Edgewater Dunes for about 5 years now. So there's been a lot of noise and issues at Gene Clark Park. I walk there often. My daughter's a runner and runs there alone often. And I have called sometimes 911, sometimes I've looked for a non-emergency number. A lot of people smoking pot, potentially weird stuff going on the north end with what to me it looks like drug deals or potential prostitution going on. And then the loud cars that are circling around, that usually is a 911 call because it's usually really late at night, 2 in the morning or so. But just concerned for the safety and more oversight of the park because it's beautiful and everyone should enjoy it. You know, all community members, even people that drive in from elsewhere, out of state, you know, it's for everybody to enjoy. But when it starts to get dangerous, then, you know, it's not, nobody feels safe there. So I would like to request that there's more patrolling. There was one time, there was like a safety officer there, and I mentioned to him that several cars were, you know, smoking pot outside of the cars, but he said he's not going to do anything about it. I think it was like the Harbor Shores safety guy. He said, I can't do anything about that. So, you know, it's just daytime hours, kids are around by the playground. So all the problems to me seem to be on the north end. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline Elliott. We were emailing. I'm also a resident of Edgewater Dunes, and I did want to recognize that what happened this week with the shooting at Gene Clark Park was a one-off. It was not residents of Benton Harbor. It was people of out of town. We recognize that, and we hope that it is an isolated incident. But we do really want to, I know it was just the state of the city as well, and a lot of good things are happening in Benton Harbor, so I do want to acknowledge that and thank you for your service. We do love Gene Clark Park. It's right in our backyard in our neighborhood. We have young children. I have 3 of my own that are under 10. They love bike riding there. They love walking there. They love the playground there. It's a place that we would like to be a safe haven and a historic place to enjoy the beach. And I'm a fairly new resident. I've been here only less than a year. I moved from Georgia, so I'm just grateful for Lake Michigan. Obviously, it's stunning. And we want to see this thrive. We want to help. We want to make sure that things are happening there because other residents are seeing that it's going downhill a little bit with some concerns about safety. So we believe the removal of the staff gatehouse, the physical gates, and the road spikes in favor of the automated parking kiosk has left the park without meaningful access control or deterrence. And so the shooting that we're talking about suggests that the park has become a regional draw for some dangerous activity, precisely because there's no accountability at the entrance, and there also is not any safety patrol, especially in the evening hours at the beach and the weekend as we're coming up on Memorial Day weekend. I did want to acknowledge I did see a Department of Safety Benton Harbor vehicle there last night, so thank you for that. I think that presence alone will stop the kind of drag car racing that we see, especially in the evenings. So with a lack of speed bumps or anything to stop people from speeding, there are cars going extremely fast through that parking lot, and they're just going up that hill, turning around, coming back down. Kids are crossing the parking lot, going to the playground. They're at the beach. It's just not a safe place for families. So I don't think we're here to place blame. We're here because we want to partner with you, and we care about this place and this community, and we want to work toward real solutions. So what we're proposing is reinstalling physical barriers at the park, as well as restoring a staffed entry point, increasing security patrols, intervening earlier on large gatherings or anything that kind of gets out of hand, increasing security patrols, especially going into the summer and beach season. Having like dedicated foot and bike patrols at sunset and during evening hours would be helpful, and establishing like a summer beach safety task force when there's going to be more crowds, obviously. Installing traffic calming measures, like I said, like speed bumps or something to stop people from just using that as a turnaround. So, yes, that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comments?
Hi, I'm Lauren Nelson. I'm neighbors with Jackie and a few other people in this room in Edgewater Dunes. I would share the same sentiment as Jackie. I've lived in St. Joseph now, well, in Edgewater Dunes now for a little over 13 years now. It's been home for me. I've now raised a family in the area, so I have 3 kids of my own, but we visit Jean Clack all year round. It is somewhere we go in the winter, we're there in the summer, we're here for the tourism season. And part of the same sentiment that I want to share with Jacqueline, we understand that it is a one-off incidence likely, but my concern is that the uptick that we've seen and some of the activity that I want to say caused a lot of news last year and years prior in Silver Beach, my sentiment is I feel like that's spilling over into Jean Clack, as that's become another new hot spot, I want to say specifically for the youth area. And I'll share my experience specifically with this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Had my family up at the beach. We love a good sunset with how nice the weather's finally turning around. Friday, it got to the point where my husband and I no longer felt safe having the kids on the playground there. A lot of teens coming through with senior riding on their cars. I know they're excited, but they're essentially drag racing through, specifically trying to drift in the sand drifts, and one car almost spun out into the actual playground. We ended up moving further down, hoping that was it and the cars would go away, but a few of them still drove past, and we left there feeling pretty upset about it, but chalked it up to maybe that was a one-off instance. Move over into Saturday. Same thing, we're there later on. At this point, it's a little after 6, if not, it's coming up to 7 o'clock. I'm back at home, but my husband comes home 30 minutes later, really upset, and says the same thing happened. Him and a friend tried stopping the traffic coming through. Car almost got stuck in the sand, fishtailing, while the kids are out. So they're not even on the road, they're getting onto the actual sidewalk where pedestrians are walking. That actually was captured by a friend of mine and emailed to the sheriff. License plates were shared as well, but it just goes to show that we're already seeing an uptick in activity. And if things are being recognized at other beaches and there's more patrol during high peak hours, we would like to see the same happen at Jean Clack as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Winkler, representing Edgewater Dunes. I'm president of our homeowners association there. I have been for about 10 years, and we've never had these problems until the last couple of years. I mean, Jean Clack Park got renovated. It's beautiful. People are starting to discover it, and unfortunately, I think a lot of out-of-towners have discovered it. Where Silver Beach was the hot spot, we're becoming it. I know I'm repeating some other things, but I've lived there for 20 years now, and it's just been the last couple that we've seen this. A couple things that bother me. One, walk there a lot, ride my bike through there a lot. Very, very seldom do I see any police presence. And we got to have that to deter the crap that's going on. Another thing that concerns me is the north end, that exit, used to be exit only, had spikes. The spikes are always down now. So I'm sure people are coming in that way, as well as the south entrance. And I don't understand that either, because, again, if you control it so there's just one entrance, you got more control. Right now, we've kind of lost it seems like. And, you know yourselves, some of the vandalism that's taken place. I drove through there just before I came to this meeting. The stop sign as you exit on the south side, the pole is twisted or the post is twisted and there's no stop sign. It's gone. So, again, I'm not laying blame. I'm just asking, we need better police presence. We need to crack down on the offenders. And I like some of Jacqueline's suggestions, but, we're here. I've talked to Steve Newbecker at St. Joe, and they're going to watch the drag racing on M63 and do what they can, but they don't have the jurisdiction in Gene Clark Park. That rests with this group, and we're just asking for your cooperation and help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Neal. I also live in Edgewater and echo kind of what they've said, but my main concern is I've got a disabled son. And there's another boy that lives in the neighborhood that's also disabled, and they walk almost every day. And Gene Clark is one of their favorite places to walk. And they have recently expressed that they too don't feel safe walking there and have almost been hit by cars flying through there. So that's concerning to me, obviously. And I would say too that for the last several years, I feel like it's just been changing in terms of cars just flying through there all times, day of night. I can hear it from my house too, sometimes middle of the night. Obviously, same thing on M63. But like I said, overall, my general concern is just for the safety of everybody that wants to enjoy the beach. And I feel like it's, like I said, definitely changed in the last few years in terms of not having that gatehouse with anybody there, the gates, and as well as I think the stakes or the spikes being down as well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Gable. I also live in Edgewater, but I'm definitely not going to repeat some of the concerns everybody mentioned here tonight. I want to bring a little bit of context and make sure I emphasize, this concern is coming to the table today out of, really just genuine concern for, the safety and the tranquility of Gene Clark Park and what that means for this community in general. So we heard a lot from Edgewater, but we're here really to represent the residents of Benton Harbor, St. Joe, of the area in general, right? Because as somebody mentioned, they all enjoy Gene Clark Park. So consider us your partners. We're your eyes and ears because we're right there, right? We're right there. We see the things and we bring them to your attention because we feel that just like all of you, all of us, everybody in the area has a vested interest in seeing that park maintain its reputation as a beautiful, safe place to go. I'm integrated into the community, into St. Joe, into Benton Harbor. My wife has worked in Benton Harbor our 15 years here, either as a district nurse of the Benton Harbor area schools or at Intercare. We want and love to see Benton Harbor not only be successful, but to earn the reputation as a great place for families to be able to come and enjoy an amazing day, weekend, or week on Lake Michigan and Gene Clark Park. So let us partner with you. Again, hear all these concerns as representing the residents of Benton Harbor, residents of St. Joe, and the residents of the area, and all of our guests in general. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Schweer from Hickman Park, 146 Hickman Park Hill 1. A lot of the same concerns. And for me, it's mainly when my grandkids come into town. They love to go down there and play at the park. And in the last few years, like the last 2.5 for sure, it just continues to grow as a concern because they generally are at the beach during the day. They go down to the playground at night. And my son and his wife just haven't felt safe going down there in the last, especially, this last couple of weekends for sure. But it's my wife and I go through there a lot. She runs there every day. So we are very concerned about it. And I agree. We are your eyes and ears. We want to partner with you. We want to help any way that we possibly can because it's getting to be where it's just a lot of kids hanging out and it's kind of threatening and you hear you can see the tire marks. They're racing around the artwork that's there, that's displayed in each end of the park, but you can see the tire marks because they're trying to do wheelies, they're spinning out around those pieces of artwork, and you can hear it loud into the night. Not even when there's an event at the gazebo there, but just almost all the time, it seems like, especially on the weekends. So we want to make sure that we can do something to help and make sure that we're kind of partnering together. So I just want to raise my concerns and appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
Good, close to evening. My name is Commissioner Emma Kennard. I'm Commissioner at Large here in Benton Harbor, Michigan. And I have a definite concern because I've got no more information and I have requested that we know who was the person that has been stealing trees out of the cemetery over at Territorial there. And the truck was left, a person ran and left the truck there after being almost caught at taking the trees away. So I'd like documentation of that person that's been arrested and what is happening with that person that was there taking trees, because I understand that it's more than that one tree. There had been other trees taken from that cemetery prior to that. That's the cemetery there on Territorial. And that's been some time ago, and we should have gotten some information on who it was, what were they doing here in our community, taking the trees from the cemetery, and who gave them the authority to even go there if they weren't there stealing, and then they should be prosecuted. And one other thing that I have asked time and time again for the curb to be cleaned there. They redid the sidewalk last year, and all of the soil was dumped over the curbside and was there. And I was explained that it's hard for the sweeper to get it from there. But I think if we upkeep things as it's done, we wouldn't have such a problem with it getting in that fashion. So we have to sometime get the truck that cleans the drains or whatever equipment we got to work with to come out and clean those drains. And as it rains, that soil runs right into the drain and we got a problem. So if we're having financial problems, that only adds to it. So I look to have something done. I'm going to bring this up every chance I get. So just look for my voice to be out and about that, and different ones of the residents even come and call us during the day asking questions, and we need to have answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
I'm glad everybody came out to discuss Jean Clark Park because it's been a problem for a while now. Glad we got eyes and ears on our prize now, because we haven't in the past had our eyes on anything. We've had truckloads of sand just leave off our beach, and no one had anything to say then. But there, I can't say that because there were several families who did alert us as to the truckloads of sand being taken away. That was a problem then, and for me it's a problem now. Both ends of Jean Clark Park should be covered where no one could just walk in anyway, from either side, north or south. And if we're all in this together, we should all be able to maintain our beach without a lot of unnecessary television coverage or us talking against each other, St. Joe talking against Benton Harbor for one reason or another. If we're in it, let's be in it to win it. Let's make sure that the laws are followed. That even goes to the dogs, where people just walk them and let them do whatever they want to do, wherever they want to do it, and walk away. And no one is held accountable ever, ever. We need all the help we can get, and I'm asking that you assist our officers in making things happen where we don't have any of this happening again.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
Gotta take a breath. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with the beach. I've been in Mid Harbor since 1970, so y'all can do the math. I've seen that beach change to something totally different now. If you're having problems at the beach, I understand the citizens that stay out that way, they got a concern about what's going on, but they got to understand the police department primary position is they got to take care of this city. So y'all got to do something quick about the beach because y'all taking the police department's focus away from the city and what's going on in the city. So it's getting worse. Quick solution. Lock the gates like y'all used to at 10 o'clock. Quick solution. They ain't got no gates, put no gates. Put gates at both ends. Have an officer go out there and lock them every night at 10 o'clock. Ben Township do it. They lock their parts at 10 o'clock. You can't go out to Ben Township Park. It's locked. If it need gates up there again, put them back up there again. Because when they got to constantly be taken from the city, more things are happening in the city. And the more things happen in the city, the more officers got to keep on leaving from out there, jumping over here, jumping over there, jumping over there, when their primary focus should be where the most people are at, which is in the city of Ben Harbor. But with what's going on at the beach, they have to solve that. And I think a simple solution was, at one point, it was 3 roads going into Gene Clark Park. They blocked one with sand, so you couldn't drive it out. Now it's 2, just put gates up. It don't cost that much, just put gates up, and that'll help the people that stay out there, that'll help the police department, and everybody should be able to come together on it and agree. Then if they see something, I'm quite sure they're gonna call and say, listen, something going on like that, can you send a car out here? Then it'll be a lot simpler. Now, that's that for me. I've been coming out here for 2 years, just asking for a meeting. Every time I come here, I get a whole lot of talk and no communication. Communication gonna take you people and me to talk back and forth. It's not fair that I gotta keep coming down here asking y'all to set up a meeting for this, or ask this commission, can we get away and talk? Can we get away and talk that puts things on the table? I've been doing this for 2 years. How much longer do I have to do it? Any questions from anybody? Mr. McGinnis, directly. Any question? Any answer? Oh. To have a meeting to discuss my business that was wrongly taken off the list, because I was told my business was taken off the list because I was under investigation. Let me see. I'm not on investigation, so I should have been put back on. Okay. Well, so go ahead. I'm listening to you.
So this stuff even beyond that. He's not going to at least maybe let him down. Bully other people on the list.
Oh, bully you? No, it's not. It's not. You want me to tell you what it really is? I can tell you what it really is if you want to know. It's me not kissing your ass. That's what it really is, bro. No, honestly, everybody knows.
Point of order.
Okay. Other commissions even said the same thing, that because I won't bow down as a man. Okay, I'm gone. Like I said, but you know what? I'm still winning. You can't stop that, man. You don't know that yet? You know me. You can't stop that. You know it.
Any more public comments?
I know we've had a conversation about this before. And I think that we should get some more people involved in it that are not connected and see if we're doing fairly. And that's important to me, that we do things in equal keel to everyone. So I'm going to ask my and my chair, as well as one other commissioner, to get involved and have a conversation about this. And I've been listening to it for a long time, and I really want to get a happy medium for it, some kind of way. So that's what I will ask to the director, that we can do that at our convenience, at your convenience.
So I really want to kind of get on and address the issues, but you just basically sat there and said I've been unfair.
No.
No, you did. You said to do it fairly. 14 years, all the stuff that we've done, now all of a sudden unfair because your cousin, we're not using for a tow? That's not fair. That's not fair.
No, I didn't mean that you were
So
unfair.
let me finish. So
I'm you got that, and I didn't mean that.
I'm a director of public safety. I run a department. I have his blessing to run my department, but with this particular issue, we got to have a quorum and convene a meeting when we've made a decision. That's where we are now.
That's the democracy. That's democracy. We all have a conversation about whatever's going on.
Well, good thing this is a republic, and you have people to run their departments. If I'm not running a department satisfactory enough for a tow list, then I.
Don't be personal. It is not personal. I apologize if you thought I said that. I meant that, but I did not mean that, Chair. I really didn't. I know you're a fair individual. I just want our procedures to be straight and narrow and don't change for anything. If we know what the procedures are, it doesn't make any difference who the players are. That's all I'm saying. We'll schedule a meeting for us three to have a conversation.
What? Criteria, we use the state admissions criteria. Let me move on, because quite frankly, it's almost embarrassing. So let me say to the people that came who live around Gene Clock. First, let me ask, does anybody that live actually on Grand? All right, so technically you guys live in St. Joe. Obviously, it doesn't matter. So, okay, so, but what I was saying was, with this issue, we already have a meeting set tomorrow with Sheriff Height and Director Newbecker for us to have work together for this issue. It was the point I was making. So I want to make sure that for those who do live in the St. Joe side, that we're including everybody. So Benton Harbor and St. Joe, because it's both of our issue. So that's what I was saying. So we do have that meeting tomorrow, and we're going to discuss strategies. And there is, would Cassie Alley happen to be here? Somebody sent me an email with video. This is the type of communication we would love to have. So I'm gonna discuss a couple things, and forgive me, Madam Clerk, because I actually had Gene Clock as topic 3, but I forgot to put it in there, so we're actually right on point. So somebody mentioned dispatch. I had a conversation with some of Grand people that we have had, and it's well documented, a huge problem with dispatch, especially with Benton Harbor. I'll give you an example. Just this incident we're talking about, there's 4 residents at Grand said they called 911 about 20 minutes before it really escalated to the point of the shooting. Well, we were sitting in our office. The way we knew is we heard the initial dispatch of shots fired, man down. Not the first time. There was never anything about there's a 911 call of conflict at Gene Clark Park. We've talked about that time and time again, to the point we even tried to have a meeting with the county. We were getting some headway, and then I'm not exactly sure why that is. But I make no excuse for that other than not the first time. What I want to do is, coming out of the meetings that we're going to have, Mr. Little had a meeting today with some of the Grand Boulevard people. is have solutions. That's why I asked for the list here. These are good things. Some things that we can directly influence. If it's not got to be a committee about it, we can actually put extra patrols in Gene Clark Park. Robin did make a good point. We do get most of our time caught up in the city with all that goes on there. So, but I make no excuse for that. And I said yesterday, and I'm not sure if they put it on TV or not, quite frankly, I think that this particular day, and we are totally transparent and honest to most people, that we got caught with our pants down. That's a problem. I'm openly admitting that. So that's not going to happen again. We will work together as a community, because we all are. We are your law enforcement, just like Steve and Sheriff Height. We also have a great, because someone mentioned Tiscornia, that's township, but we have a great relationship, and Chief Abrams is also with us. So we want to make sure that these issues are addressed. Now, me personally, I love Gene Clark. I used to spend hours out there. I would go there during lunch, after work. My kids grew up out there, and I was proud to say we never had the problems that developed at Silver Beach. So I just want you to know that we are working on some things like immediate, whether real deployment, and we've also been short-staffed for years. But again, we don't make excuses. The work is still the work. We'll get it done. Gene Clark is a gem. I can't control the gates and the boardwalk. That's a conversation for these gentlemen. But believe me when we say that you will see a difference. And if we can get direct lines of communication, I know that car. I know that car drives up and up Pipestone almost every day. So if we need to, unfortunately, have to surpass dispatch with maybe non-emergency stuff, whoever camera this is fantastic. Additionally, and again, I don't want to spend too long on this because we have other items, but our cameras don't work consistently out there. That's an issue that he's working on. So problem identified, pulling pants up. We look forward to working together with you. For those who don't know, I'm Director Dan McGinnis. This is Deputy Director Clark, Deputy Director Kaz. Also for fire service, we got to be able to get out there in case something happens. As you know, if you live there for as long as you have, the dunes catch on fire every couple of years because people barbecue or throwing joints down or cigarettes. Well, we do have one of the best fire departments around, so at least we're pleased with that. But I did want to make sure that this was we hear you, and we believe in moving action. So I would love at some point, maybe even talking about, I know you guys are having an association, either block club, some type of contact list. Make sure you all have our non-emergency numbers. We all carry our phones. We have two phones. I hate two phones, but you can actually text our numbers, our phone numbers. You can actually text photos to them, send videos. So again, I just wanted to assure you, first of all, thank you for coming. Thank you for your concern, and I look forward to working with you all. And we'll bring Grand together, and we'll be one big, happy Gene Clark family.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can you give us the number? Yeah.
Can we see that picture of that car?
Yeah, can you share those numbers with us?
They need your phone number to your office.
Or just the non-emergency number that we should be calling if we see something?
Because I hate to call 911 every time.
Exactly.
Let's do this. We have our trustee assistant. We can maybe pass around. Let's get your numbers, so because she's going to be starting this list anyway.
Okay.
So she can start that now. Your names, addresses, email. She's the mass organizer. I would take care of that. But that would be better, and we'll reach out to you and see all that information.
Okay.
So, just to touch on the gate piece, as we were instructed by a previous administration, going back to the early parts of Harbor Shores, when the city was sued for the Harbor Shores development, the Drake case, we were told we were no longer allowed to lock those gates because it would restrict access. Because before, early on in my career, I know that I spent many a night going out there at 10 o'clock, making sure the park was empty, and then locking those gates. So, maybe if it's okay with Mr. Little, we have the city attorney review that. But as we were instructed previously, we were no longer locking those gates because we were not allowed to restrict that access. So that's why the gates have not been locked since 2010. Just to clarify that as well.
I might add, we did have a very good meeting this afternoon with a number of the residents from Graham Avenue, and we went over a number of these same issues and concerns. We will be getting together as city staff, reviewing a number of measures, some of the suggestions that you've made, and we will be taking positive measures to get the situation under control so that you don't have these problems.
Fire Marshal.
I would like to add, it's a little farther down on the agenda, but it still is Gene Clark Park, so I think it's an opportune time to speak of it. We received a beach safety grant from the Benton Harbor South, or St. Joe Rotary last year. So this weekend, you will notice there'll be life rings going out on the beach, and there'll be a designated swim area, which will keep boats out of the beach. So that entire beachfront, the big open part, basically, not necessarily where the dunes are, but the big open space, will be buoyed off, so you can't pull a boat up onto the beach like what was happening, causing, issues with children and that. So there'll be a swim flag system out there. There'll be basically the same things that you would find at Silver Beach will now be at Gene Clark Park minus lifeguards. So, while it's not necessarily related to this, it's still a safety item, which will make things better for all the residents.
Director McGinnis, can you finish number G?
One additional thing I want to mention, we will have a full staff of parking attendants going continuously through Gene Clark Park during the period that it's open from 7 to 10. We're in the process of preparing the people and training them very shortly so that we'll have them out there, and that'll be going on. And they'll be reporting back to the police department any activity that they see that isn't appropriate.
Commissioner, just, I think for the interest of time, so Clark, I have on here for G, Clark, just like Mama's, the convenience stores. These actually, I think, need a little bit weight to themselves because I don't know if you've been following what's been going on at the new Lions Express. The Old Meeks is a huge problem that Chief Abrams is working with. And he is working on a cease and desist. And what our fears are is that if that's shut down, they're going to come into the city. And I would like to see us, if possible, bring back up the discussion of the convenience store hours. I know we got the floor released hundreds twice. We're hoping that we can avoid, because this Gene Clark is really a similitude to what we see with the traveling groups all throughout from store to store. So I don't want to get into that now, but I would like to think about if we can get back to that and actually finally get the support to get it pushed through. And the main part of that was closed down at 2 o'clock all stores. There's no reason to be open at 24 hours because those lights are like, matter of fact, somebody told me yesterday on Graham, the street lights there, it attracts people. And that's why they're drag racing at night. Those canopy store lights attract, as we know, 400, 500, 600 people. 202 North Fair, A&D's, Gene Clark Park. So I would just put that out there in the atmosphere, and then maybe we can discuss it next month, public safety, if we last that long.
A through F.
Oh, okay, I thought there's a release on there. Okay, the report. I hope this is what you were looking for. I'm going to go to this quickly because we have quite a few items on here. I really would like, please, if you could stay, we have a discussion that we want to, in reference to our fire service and apparatus. So I'll try to be quick because we need to make a decision, and we don't need to make a decision that we as a community are comfortable with because it's a big move. For the month of April, we responded to 1,030 34 calls. And let that kind of sink in. 4 square miles, we respond to about 1,000 calls a month. So again, kind of give you some idea, okay, oh, yeah, that's why they're in the city. We made 84 arrests, 82 adults, 2 juveniles, issued 31 citations. One of the things that I'm watching is seeing a slight trend upwards of home invasions and the vehicle burglaries. My guess is who we arrested last year is probably out. So we're studying those numbers, looking at those, as well as developing strategies for detection. One of the things that we're trying to institute also is because we've been so busy and we're always short, officers will come, take a report, get the information, leave, touch back bases with the victim if they found anything else that might have been missing or damaged. And we just, because something was happening, had enough time to spend to process it forensically. So one of the things, it's a small thing, but an important thing, is for us to increase our forensic processing of scenes for property crimes to try to detect the people that are doing them and ultimately get them, have enforcement, and obviously have them stop. So I don't think people think about the importance of the forensics. What we're saying is we're trying to be a better police department. We're going to improve our forensic output for property crimes, for these stolen vehicles and these burglaries. I got a training unit of 6 guys right now and one young lady. And, we process the shootings and shell casings, but I think it's important. Plus, I think it's important service to the citizens to know that my house that happened to be broke into gets the same treatment as if a house is shot up. So I believe that's going to be successful. It'll be a little bit difficult to quantify. It'll probably take some years, but I think that we'll be able to develop some detection strategies and get people arrested and stop them from breaking the houses, because I hate that, in case you haven't noticed. Budget-wise, I want to pay attention to the fact that right now in the cycle, we should be at about 83.29% spending. This is probably the first time we've ever been ahead, but we're at 86.80 at this point. And I just want to make sure that we are clear on the fact that in our expenditure report, it counts the grants that we bring in. If you'll see on the back of this report, in 2025, we are very diligent in grant writing. And to kind of give you a brief history, when we were merged into public safety, it wasn't a great plan. It wasn't a plan at all, actually. So we were merged in public safety. And after about the 3rd year, the fire department had this budget. Of course, police had this budget. They totally eliminated the fire department. So for all of our tenure, we have operated police and fire under one budget. So we had ran the numbers, and technically, we should be operating at a $7.1 million budget just for police and fire, and not the 3.2 or 4 that we're doing. So I say all that to say we do a lot of grant writing. These 2 gentlemen right here are geniuses. One thing I'm good at is surrounding myself with people smarter than myself. Of course, you can clearly see I'm not real smart. So last year, we brought in $887,000 worth of grants to take care of things that we need to take care of. Because quite frankly, if OSHA comes in and says, hey, your truck is out of whack, or your equipment's not in good shape, or your MACO system is out of whack, we can't say, well, we just didn't have the money for it. That doesn't work. So when you see the numbers, realize that that's the money that we brought in externally to help alleviate pressure on the general fund. Personnel-wise, we got one of the academies doing very, very well and waiting for another officer to have his license activated, and will be closer to being whole. It's been a long time coming. Now, one of the things we want to do in this report is, you see the heading of major projects and upcoming expenditures. Because we are the biggest part of the budget, because of the stuff that we have to pay for is big, huge chunks, we like to make sure that the committee, commission, citizens know here's some things that we have coming up, or things that we're working on. And again, we're always working on projects and looking for grants. So listed right here are grants or projects that we are working on currently and how they are being funded. All right, so one we're working on what we call CAD, Computer Aided Dispatch Acquisition, and that is basically getting information in each officer's cars that this is I don't want to bother y'all. Well, that's what this is at. This is something else today, ain't it? So we can see where officers are. Calls can come in right to the screen. It's a very, very helpful piece of a tool, but it is costly to get it started. So the cost of that project is roughly $36,000. The agreement, he's going to talk about that. No, this is something else. Never mind. Yeah. So this has been earmarked from the recent received Cities, Villages, and Towns Public Safety Revenue Grant. So every agency in the state of Michigan will get, for at least 3 years, get a certain amount of money allocated to them based on their numbers for violent offenses. So we have a big lump sum that we're getting, so it's like $209,000. So it's that major grant is what we use to fund or help supplement the funding of these projects. So that's that. Part of, again, like you said, related is the mobile data computer replacement. Those are the actual computers in our cars. Basically, every squad car is a rolling office, including printers. So we have all that in there, and that is a cost of $26,000. That also is coming from the village and town revenue, and that actually is part of the 25% mandate. Additionally, this is actually number 3, and I'm just going to run through these. If there's any questions, you can ask. Addition of traffic cameras at Main and Fair. Well, just like we have issue Gene Clock, we don't have cameras at Main and Fair because when we put our cameras up, of course, Main is owned by the state, and they wouldn't let us use their pole nor let us put our own pole in. So apparently that's changed. We are able to do that. So to add a traffic camera, 4-way at Main and Fair, be about, well, back then, about $46,000. That comes from, we're part of 7 communities called Project Safe Neighborhood. And as Project Safe Neighborhood communities, we get also grant money allotted to us. So it's us, Muskegon Heights, they count them as one, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Battle Creek. Did I say Kalamazoo? I'm forgetting one. But anyway, so that money, this year we're getting $46,800 and some odd dollars. So that'll help to supplement the costs, because ultimately the cost of the camera at the time was about, $58,000 to $60,000. So then we'll have the CBT public grant, that $8,000 supplement that. So again, that comes at no cost to the city, and that comes from the grants that we brought in. We've already talked about the buoys of Gene Clock. And number 5, and this is where I want to really have some input from commissioners and even the public of a possible swap between a ladder truck and for our mini pumpers. But before we get into that, is there anything you want to add as far as these, Clark?
So starting with the computer-aided dispatch, this project's been going on for about 2 years. We requested, so the Berrien County runs Central Dispatch, and they have controlled the dispatch authority since 2009. As part of some mandates from the state, there are only allowed 2 PSAPs per county, which is public safety dispatch centers. There's one here, and then there's one in Niles, and they run backup for each other. When they pushed us into the system, the county has CAD, so they can track their officers, they can track their cruisers, they have GPS, they know where they are. We were never invited into the system for whatever reason, and about 2 years ago, we started the push. There were several agencies that requested it, And as part of the project, then County Administrator Brian Doucette kind of championed it. He took on the overall cost, and there were some agreements made between communities to handle the smaller parts of this cost. And we're finally at the point where we can do this now. Computer-aided dispatch is not new. It's been around in the larger communities since the 70s. It's just something that we need to be able to use. Number one, officer safety. Number two, technology. The biggest thing for us, safety-wise, is now this puts all our cars on the screen at dispatch, and they can actually see what cars are closest to a call, and instead of just putting it out in the air, whoever's closest, they can actually send the closest units. So it's a tremendous safety piece for us. It also gives us a little more accountability because we have the GPS in the cars, we can see some things, and we can get information through the computer that normally we wouldn't see. So as part of that, traditionally, a lot of the counties in Michigan, the dispatch center would then control the computers in the cars. For instance, if you go to Ottawa County's technology center controls the car computers. So they give the agencies the computers. To keep this cost somewhat down, basically the county gave us the technical specs that we need to run this. 32 gigs of RAM and a few other things, and our cruisers do not have that capability. The computers we have in the cars now are about 6 years old, and they stay in the cars. They're locked in the cars for reasons that are set by the FBI and CJIS, our licensing authority for that. As a result, they're in the elements, heat, cold, heat, cold, heat, cold. And then we've also had one that was destroyed when a cruiser got rammed and got rolled over. And so that is where the mobile data computer replacement is coming into. Once these are replaced, we will look at the devices and see if we can repurpose them. If not, we will recycle them. We use electronic recycling companies, and we recycle electronics in the proper fashion. So that is those two systems in a nutshell, just to explain that. And then the traffic camera at Main and Fair, some of the major cost on this, the initial setup, is the logistics to run it. The cellular service that it has to have to run the cameras, to talk to the rest of the system, and the installation, because it requires the rental of a boom truck and a few other things. So that's part of the reason why the cost is as high as it is on this grant, and it's a one-time only thing, because once those cameras are up and we have them, there's no further costs other than maintenance as needed. So just to explain that, and I'll let Brian take over on the ladder truck piece.
All right. So this, we definitely need some feedback on, and I hate to do things on a time crunch, but unfortunately, there's other departments looking at this truck, so we have to, not today, but in the near future, make a decision. In 2006, the department received a grant for a ladder truck for $634,000. It's now 17 years old, and it has a maximum lifespan of 25 years. So it's got about 8 years remaining. That truck in 2006, 2007 cost $634. To replace it today, $634,000, sorry. To replace it today would be at least $3 million, and to replace it in another 8 years is estimated to be at $4 million, with delivery times up to 50 months. That truck was only used by our department 7 times last year, and in none of those 7 responses did the ladder go up. Now, that's not saying we don't use a ladder truck. The City of St. Joe, through our collaborative, we have collaborative fire response efforts on every structure fire with the City of St. Joseph, Benton Charter Township, and Lincoln Township. The City of St. Joe sends us their ladder truck on every fire, so we're using theirs. The Benton Township, next to us, a mile away, just took delivery of another new ladder truck, basically like a week ago. And theirs, when they ordered it 4 years ago, was $2.3 million. That same truck today would be $3 million. So we have other ladder trucks around. This truck, to operate on 7 calls last year, cost us, without fuel, $10,275. In the last 5 years, it's cost us about $51,000. Next year alone, it's due for tires at an estimated cost of probably $8,000 to $12,000. It's just not a wise investment for our city, I don't think, to continue to maintain a piece of apparatus that doesn't get used when everybody else around us, we share our efforts. And the whole purpose of our collaborative efforts is to share costs between everybody, not to duplicate efforts. And that's where we're at, is we have a huge duplication. I've been in the fire service 35 years. I don't know of 3 departments closer that have 3 ladder trucks this close. So the goal would be to replace this with a 2016 mini pumper. A mini pumper would allow us access into areas, the ravines, the cemeteries, the tight areas, our alleys, the beach, where the normal rigs do not fit. It's something no one else really in our area has, and would give us, where we get 2 miles to the gallon in our ladder truck, this would be about 12 to 16 miles of gallon. So when diesel fuel is $6.50, once again, it's just another cost drain. We've had this looked at by a consultant. We've done a SWOT analysis to look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the mini pumper versus the ladder truck. And honestly, I don't think we're losing anything. I think we're gaining something we don't currently have. Because for 7 calls last year is all that it made. Most of those were not in our area. They were mutual aid to other areas. But the ladder never went in the air. So I think my recommendation would be to do this even trade. There's a no-cost trade between us and this vendor for this truck. It would come with a 2-year warranty. It doesn't cover things like brakes and tires, but would cover major repairs. I think we'd be money ahead in the end. And the other piece of this is this truck can be re-chassied. So it can be, you can take the body off of it and put it under a new pickup chassis when its time is up. So I can't really do that with my ladder truck. I can't take the ladder off of it and put it on top of a new truck. So I welcome any questions you have. This is a big decision to make. That's why we wanted to bring it here. We didn't want to just make this, this type of decision on our own. So all I can say is our working relationships between our collaborative departments have never been better. So I think this would be the time to do it. So
I have a question on this pump truck. It's a 2016. How many miles in that truck?
About 11,000.
Less than my F-150.
I'll pull it up here. I have the exact I can provide you. While I'm looking for that, any additional questions?
Yes, I would like to ask about the ladder. Will we have a ladder truck to our availability if we needed it?
Yes, and St. Joe right now sends theirs automatic, Benton Township sends an engine. If for some reason St. Joe's would be out of service, then Benton Township would send theirs automatic, St. Joe would send an engine in its place. So our agreement is so fluid that we all watch out for each other. So I think it's one of those things that, unless the world started to come to an end, I don't have any concerns about us not having access to a ladder. And not just access, but it's being dispatched the same time we're being dispatched. So we operate like one fire department on the scene. Even though we're 4 fire departments, you couldn't tell the difference between Benton Harbor, Benton Township, St. Joe, and Lincoln Township.
Can you break down mutual aid so that way everybody understand the ladder truck and the use of this pump truck? So that way we all on one accord.
I was just about to suggest that. So just for our audience, we have auto aid that we have, and then we have the collaborative. So explain that to our citizens so they can everybody understand what we have, the layers.
And first, Mayor Pro Tem, the mileage is 10,781. So automatic aid means we are dispatched automatically at the same time. So if there is a fire in Benton, if there's a fire in Benton Harbor right now, we receive an engine company, that has hose and water on it, from Benton Township and Lincoln Township. And a ladder truck from the city of St. Joe. Same thing, if there's a fire in St. Joe right now, they receive our engine, they actually respond with their ladder first out in most cases because we're on their tail. So we've developed this system. So we're all being dispatched at the exact same time. And then there's mutual aid. So we have something called box cards, which are just a structured assignment of additional departments that we would call for help. So we have it's like a first alarm, second alarm, et cetera. So on the mutual aid level, those departments are bound by the county mutual aid agreement. So if we get called, it doesn't matter where it's at. If we get called to Niles by the county mutual aid agreement, we have to respond. So the mutual aid, and then, the whole purpose of our collaborative per se is to share like training, like policies, like operations. So like I said, you can't tell the difference between our departments when we're on the scene. In the collaborative departments currently, and we're still formalizing the collaborative, but we've started, and we've training and everything else, is the city of St. Joseph, Benton Harbor, Benton Charter Township, Lincoln Township, Lake Township, and now Waterville is joining. And we expect others to join, but, there's, it's all about like-mindedness.
So will engine 52 and 53 still go out?
Yeah, so our engines would still be staffed. So this would be used to take some of the mileage off the bigger rigs. So once again, those are getting 4 miles to a gallon. So if it's a trash fire, we don't need to send the big engine. We can send the mini pumper. If it's a car accident or something per se, we can send the smaller truck. Those would be, if we have an alarm in a high rise though, we're gonna send the engine. We're gonna send the right truck for the right call. So right now, we're putting miles on rigs that necessarily are kind of unnecessary if we had this truck.
And when do you need this approved by?
So the hold on it is supposed to expire tomorrow. I probably can get it extended to the next commission meeting, knowing that we have support tonight. But the hold is supposed to expire tomorrow. So, they know that this has to go through a process, okay? I just have to give them, we're moving either towards it or away from it. And I'm not trying to pressure anybody, I just want to,
Mr. Manager, have you reviewed this here?
Just so everybody knows, we weren't waiting until the last minute. This wasn't procrastination. We had to get authorization from FEMA to make this trade first. And Brian did receive authorization for that today. So that's why it's coming in the process it was. It wasn't a lack of planning or procrastination. We just had to wait for FEMA because they paid for the ladder truck to begin with.
We've been kicking this around for at least 2 months with the SWOT analysis.
And not to bring politics into it, FEMA was notified back in February of this because we wanted to have all this in place, and they were closed because of the shutdown. They're part of DHS, so literally just got back with us at 2:30 this afternoon.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, in answer to your question, yes, I have reviewed it, and I do recommend it.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the public on the pump truck?
I just want to know what's the price between the two at this point, at today's date.
Even trade, so
What's the value of the ladder truck today?
$264,000, and that's what the value of the mini pumper we would be trading for is $264,000.
Price as the minimum.
Correct.
So with the consent, move to the full body? Commissioner Henry? Yes or no?
Yes,
You sure it's a yes?
I'm pretty confident that we're making a good deal of it. Anytime that we save money, is better than not having the money. So save it. Thank you. Thank
Madam-
you, Chief.
Thank
and
you.
Director.
Madam Clerk, you got it?
Noted.
So I want to go back before we move forward to the violence, unfortunately, in Ben Harbor, because I don't want to overskip the violence in Ben Harbor, and we here talk about Gene Clark. A lot of the concerns are, how will we protect and patrol more in Ben Harbor? The stores, the parks, and all that, from Union Park to Broadway Park to the gas stations on Main Street to the other beach, the river.
I'm glad you asked. So one of the things we're going to do, and actually everything you just said is the scope of that. So because we are finally we're still short, but we're in way better shape than we were. So we have kind of an odd number. We're going to take at least one officer and assign them to kind of that rotation. Again, of course, Gene Clark, Broadway, Union, downtown. Because also we got to not forget, we get complaints from our businesses about people speeding on Main Street and bending corners at high rates of speed, especially from the yogurt place there on the corner and the other businesses. So it wouldn't be more visible, be in areas that we need to be in that sometimes get ignored. I can give you another example. There's a family that lives over on Hastings, I believe it is. Several complaints of, you sent them to me, loud music. And there's times where we go there, but we need to have it more consistent. So if there's like a hot spot, I know we have a mother that we're looking after on Baird Street, that we're on her street. So there's going to be a redeployment with that. There's some union considerations, notices, or agreements to move the shift. So that's what we're going to do kind of forthwith. And that is kind of a rotating type shift-ish. So that is what one of the first strategies, as well as, again, have talked to already. We got MSP support. Again, Sheriff Hyde is a great partner, his support, and of course, Chief Abrams and I, not Greg, Chief Abrams and I work hand in hand. So we'll be working actually together because, as you know, our lines blur. So that is, to answer your question, that's what we're doing, some deployment, as well as you know, we're working on our response team, our support response team, as well as pastors and leaders. We talked to a couple yesterday as far as meeting to have kind of like a whole approach to the city and a presence, including ministers and pastors. So that's in a nutshell what we have. That will be in writing at least by the next time we come around for public safety. But that is what our plan is, and we're looking forward to move on that quickly.
Thank you. So you want to go down to the fleet and equipment of the Tahoes and the supervisor? Deputy Clark?
So, just to let everybody know, you'll see a different look on the cruisers. The cars we bought, the cars we leased in 2022 have come up on their term. One of them was totaled out when one of our officers was struck. I don't know if we talked about that here. We had Officer Park on Odin, and he was struck by somebody, and it ended up rolling the car, and he was hurt, but he's good now. And so one of the things we've done with the replacements on them is we've taken and gone back to the traditional police markings on the side, front, and back, just so that way it's a little more easily identifiable, understood. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take two of the vehicles and we're going to mark them as supervisor cars. So we don't want to run a car 24/7, 365. So the assignment on the supervisor's cars will be broken up to where there's brakes. But it's a lot easier if somebody sees that car and understand that's the shift supervisor, that's the person in charge of the people on the street that day.
Thank you. So, your question?
Just to what you said.
Is that a mic, please?
Just a question to kind of piggyback on what you said about the citizen and patrolling. And so what I have seen with some of our police officers, they do come out, but the problem is they just drive through when they see crowds starting to get, a lot of the officers is not stopping. And so that's where all the debauchery, all that stuff come from. So I have seen many places, like, they're not gonna blow the horn or put on the siren. So if they get more into getting out and letting them know they presence here, if you don't move it, we finna start ticketing it or putting you in the car. I think that's where the problem come in at, McGinnis, when these officers are not, y'all send where they get a call, because I have called, and you see them, one put up another one, but it be some of the young, or they just drive through it, and then they just huddle with each other, not even kind of like, hey, if you're doing something, keep it going. They don't do that, so,
Point taken, and we've had great discussion about that, and, yeah,
yeah.
we have a staff meeting that we will
Okay.
discuss that again. So thank you for that.
Thank you. So back to my fleet and equipment, I think Sergeant G, not to pick on him, he has been recognized, noticeable. People said they appreciate Sergeant G. He have his left and right alley light on, and they was wondering, can every patrol car does that? So they know, like, especially at nighttime, officers come down the road.
So we have that setting set up in the cars. It's called Cruise. It's actually, it started in DC and it's kind of taken off around the country. We don't generally do it on every car because we have found that it can be a little distracting. And somebody sees that, and so we try to balance it out, but it is a cruise setting in our light system. They put it on and the lights stay on, they dim a little bit, but they stay steady, so you can see the cars coming up and down the street. So yeah, that is something that we're working on, and we have put that feature in the car.
All right. Back to our fire marshal on fire and code update.
Let me bring that report up in front of you. Overall, things are going well on the fire side. I couldn't be more proud of what we do. On the code side, we are busy doing grass. The first 17 lots went for abatement today. So we started tagging lots last week. The first 17 went for abatement. Tomorrow, there'll be more for abatement. So there will be mowing going on. I think in all, we had tagged like 30 initially and 17, or so like, what would be, 13 of them got mowed by being tagged. The other 17 will go to abatement. They were not mowed, so. That's our big focus during the summer is obviously ordinance. So, last month, and let me pull the report up here so I can cite it, but, I think our numbers are way up overall, so stand by 1 second. Well, if this would load. Stand by. Yeah, so last month, ordinance violations, 698 ordinance violations for the month, and then we continue with rental inspections, et cetera. We've had several serious rental violations lately where we've marked unsafe to occupy. Unfortunately, these landlords who I've said before, and I'm going to say again, are not residents of the city of Benton Harbor, are taking advantage of our residents of the city of Benton Harbor. The lady had a hole in her roof for 2 years where you could see from her kid's bedroom out to the sky, so her kids weren't living in that bedroom, thankfully, but that's where they were supposed to be. But she had them on the floor in another room because this landlord wouldn't fix her roof. So it's sad, some of the things that we see our residents being taken advantage of.
Thank you. So now we're going to move on to our Department of Public Works update. This is for 2026 construction project update. Jason and City Manager.
Did you guys do the resolution that you need? Good?
We're good.
Okay. Caught me off guard. All right. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Turner and Commissioner Henry and city staff. I'm going to do a couple presentations that go over some of the work that's happening out there in the city for construction. So just bear with me as I'm getting this set up. Where's my folder? There it is. think my computer thinks I got the screen going. There we go. All right, thank you. My name's Jason Markwer. I'm a project manager with Abmarsh, and I'm going to go over really what's going on in the city there. I was trying to put this, I think we sent this presentation out a couple months ago. One of the public safety meetings, I think, was canceled. So I did tweak it a little bit for tonight's presentation, but I am going to go over as much as I can with the current projects that we are working on. I'm also going to give a little bit of a update on the city's sanitary sewer CWSRF funding, so where the city stands with the fund right now as it stands. So the projects that I got is just going to highlight Superior Street resurfacing, the sewer improvement projects, that includes Jennings Avenue and East Empire. Those are underway. Territorial Road, Wakanda, Cherry, and Water, that's all one contract. Territorial is nearing completion. And then the West Britain Avenue and the West Empire Avenue project, the section on Empire just started this week. There is another city project, which we're calling the 2025 fire hydrant replacement project. There was 35 total, or 22 total, and 7 is yet to be installed this year. Some already has been installed. And I'm going to give a brief update on M139 and the Fair Avenue resurfacing project that MDOT's doing. So just really an overall map. It's kind of hard to see, but it's kind of shows the different bid packages and the colors highlighted there. Like I said, Water Street, Territorial, Cherry, and Wakanda are all in blue. That's being done by Northern Construction. So it's already been obviously awarded. We did that several months back and got them on board. The red streets are the West Britain Avenue and the West Empire project. Those were awarded to L.E. Barber, and Empire just started. The green projects down there are Empire and Jennings. Those were also awarded to L.E. Barber. And then the purple project is the Superior Street resurfacing. That was also awarded to L.E. Barber. So we have all that going on in the city, a lot of detours, a lot of impacts to traffic and residents. But I also wanted to highlight, of course, the Fair Avenue MDOT project that MDOT came and showed up and presented to the city and have finally started getting underway. And they're starting to shape the roundabout. Actually, if you have had a chance to see it, the roundabout is shaping up pretty nicely over there as they move into their next phases. So just a kind of a highlight overview of each project. The Superior Street resurfacing project, that was a $320,000 project that was awarded and bid and awarded to L.A. Barber. That's going to include coal milling, roadway resurfacing, the ADA sidewalk improvements, and that's from Empire to Emory. And that is likely to start here in June, and we anticipate that to be a 4 or 5 week project. So we're probably looking at sometime mid-July to get that done. So it should be a quick hitter. Really, they're going to mill the existing street surface. They're going to adjust castings and manhole covers. They'll do the sidewalk ramps, and then they'll resurface that section of roadway. So we anticipate 4 or 5 week project. The Jennings Avenue and East Empire sewer improvements, so that was awarded to L.E. Barber at just over $1 million. The highlights on that project include sanitary sewer, a storm sewer replacement, and new HMA roadway surface, new curb and gutter, sidewalks, and ADA ramps. So that project actually did start already on April 13th, and it's expected to be done in July 2026, of course. So that's ahead of what their contract allows to August of this year. So you see the detour route, of course, on Jennings right now. They're working hard in trying to put both the sewer and the sanitary sewer and the storm sewer right now. So there's a little detour that gets people around Jennings there. And then the East Empire is a longer detour. Of course, the East Empire project is adjacent to the Project T development, so they are utilizing Pipestone, Columbus, onto Division. and May Street for that detour. The Territorial Wakanda Cherry and Water Street project, that was bid and awarded to Northern Construction, just over $1.8 million. That project includes sanitary sewer lateral replacement. There's a little bit of sewer lining, what we call CIPP, storm sewer replacement, HMA roadway reconstruction, new curb and gutter, sidewalk spot replacements, and ADA ramps. And I noticed on here, we only listed the HMA roadway reconstruction, but for example, this project is Cherry and Wakanda as well. Cherry and Wakanda is going to get concrete pavement to match the existing concrete pavement. The contractor started on Territorial on that project on April 6th. So just talking Territorial right now, that anticipated completion date is actually the end of next week. So they've already had concrete, their subcontractor out there, and they're wrapping things up with the concrete work, and then going to get one of the Reith Riley or their local pavers in there to pave that. So Territorial will be coming to a completion. The next project that they're anticipating starting is on Cherry Street. So they'll move to Cherry Street next. We anticipate that start pretty much the first couple weeks of June. I don't have a schedule for Water Street or Wakanda, but we do have them limited to, once they start, they should be done within 32 days. We made it a day-long project, construction day project, based on the 4 streets that they did. We just didn't know which ones they would start first. All 4 of these streets is under one contract, and we anticipate them to be completed by Labor Day of this year, September 5th. Just the detours that you guys have, it's part of your packet. If anybody wants to look at these, Wakanda is a lot of residential traffic, so they're going to have to sneak around Wakanda when that sewer work happens. But we did try to limit those to, only 30 days of disruption. The work at Cherry Street, there'll be a little bit of work that we have to get out into Pipestone that will cause the Pipestone traffic to run down Britton and run down Broadway. Once they get out of the Pipestone intersection, then they'll be able to do the normal detour that, I'm sorry, the thing jumped. Down Pipestone, just like it's happening now. Once they get away from the Pipestone intersection, Cherry's not that much disruptive to anybody except maybe the dollar store that's there. So just make sure we have access to that. The West Britton and the West Empire project, so that just got underway. They started on Empire. They did start on Empire. I think I mentioned before, the city's Gus Macker tournament is coming up, so we wanted to make sure that we didn't start early enough and not finished Britton at a time where they were going to play basketball on it. So we decided to start on Empire first. The contractor moved the schedule. So they just started that. That's some deep sanitary sewer on Empire. There's some storm sewer replacement. The roadways will get new roadway paving on them. There'll be some new curb and gutter. There'll be some sidewalk spot replacements. ADA ramps will be updated. And then we'll actually, at the end, after Britton Avenue is done, we'll stripe the bike lanes. We talked about that probably half a year ago during design. That is all supposed to be done before Labor Day. And the detours, as you can expect over there when they're doing major sanitary work, will be utilizing Riverview Drive, Empire when Britton is under construction, and then essentially Bond, 11th to Gray on one of the sections when we're in Riverview, and around everything to Britton. So we've got to have one project done before we start the other one. So that's something that we're looking at. And also too, we did provide public safety a detour map for use during the Gus Macker. So we'll have to make sure that everything is accessible, but they'll be on Empire, so it won't impact the Gus Macker on Britton. So funding, just a snapshot of how that grant that the city had received is truly shaken out. So I list the construction and engineering costs there. And each one of these projects were a project that was approved by Eagle, that provided the grant. And also, these were written into the project plan that was adopted by the city before applying for the grant funds, that allowed them to pretty much earmark this total project. So, yep, it's touchy. Oh, sorry. I'm very sorry about that. Pipestone area sewer project was completed last year, so that's listed there, and it shows the total amount that was spent there, 2.3. The portion of sewer funds that was allocated towards McAllister, Pavone, and Broadway was 2.1 million over there in the third column. A couple of years back, we did the Ravine Interceptor project, and that was right there just north of Territorial. So the total project of that cost was $306,000. We did some work at the Water Street intersection right there by the railroad tracks. That was just over $220,000. The contribution for the Colfax project that just got last year for the sewer fund only was just under $270,000 at $268,000. The sewer contribution for the East Britain project from last year that was completed is $690,000. The next projects are the ones that are currently underway. So you can see the total project cost for Territorial, Wakanda, Cherry, and Water at $2,265,111.09. The East Empire and Jennings shows the construction plus engineering at $1,213,000. West Britain and West Empire, total project cost of $4,314,000. And also, I don't have it put on the map, but there is also lift station improvements that are underway. Those are being administered between the city staff, Abmarsh, and FMV Engineering. That's underway right now, and work in the lift stations are totaling $2,116,200. So the reason why I bring that up kind of breaks down the construction costs. It includes the engineering, and it shows what's allocated right now of that fund. And the next slide, I'll show you why I did that. So right now we have under contract $15,821,580. So that grant in that first column there shows that the grant was broken down into essentially three different components. Everything I talked first on task one is all your sanitary sewer collection system, your lift station projects, and all the projects that I mentioned. The state gave the city a budget of up to $17,577,200. Directly underneath that in task two, the city is required by Eagle to provide an asset management update, and that was their budget that was sent to allowed for the city to use was $1 million. And then task three, as part of the funding agreement with the city, Eagle allowed the city to spend $1 million on sanitary sewer cleaning and televising. So that's where it all totals up to that $19,577,200. So I show that number from the last slide. Right now, we have $15,821,580 accounted for. Of course, the $1 million for the asset management and the $1 million for the sanitary sewer cleaning that was completed last year totals up $17,821,000. So there is $1,755,000 remaining. So the city staff and Abmarsh and the consultants are working towards asking Eagle what we can do with that money. There is some limitations on what it can be used for. The project plan that was submitted for all these funds was developed in 2023, and it lists specific projects. So adding new sections of sewer is not allowed to that grant. So it had to have been written into that project plan before. So we're trying to find ways to utilize that money. One thought was to ask Eagle if they could replace some of the equipment, more equipment at lift stations, particularly maybe the pumps that are need of repair, or control panels that weren't listed on that project plan from 2023. So we're working through seeing what they are allowed. And secondly, if you recall, Mr. Little talking in the past about the project budgets. Last year, Eagle did not fund some improvements on projects such as McAllister, Pavone, Broadway, Pipestone, and East Britain project. They only want to pay for specific trench limits that the sanitary sewer will cover. So last year, because the city was already under contract, those funds were ineligible against this grant. If they were eligible with this grant, then we probably wouldn't have the 1.7 million remaining to spend and allocate this year. There is a section of sewer that needs to be replaced on Ogden that's written into the project plan. So we're working through that, trying to see if we can get that added to a current contract, bid it out, get quotes. But we're trying to figure out how to confirm with the state to spend that last 1.7 million. Moving on quickly, that hydrant project, there's a lot of hydrants that are being looked at and reviewed, working with public safety on new ones possibly if we need to add some of them, trying to prioritize them. Really, in total, I think I misspoke earlier, there was 35 hydrants to be replaced. They did 13 last year in 2025, 22 remaining this year, and they've completed 15 of the 22. There's only 7 remaining. Our anticipated completion date on that is July 22 this year. That was awarded to Northern Construction last year at a cost of $779,000. And if you recall, the city received this money from $800,000 for the community project funding, a CPF grant. Senator Peters came to the city and announced that announcement several years ago. Wanted to draw attention to everyone listening that there is a projects tab on the city website. It's a tab that's all the way to the right of the website. We are currently working diligently to get that updated ASAP. I do not know if it's live. I think I've had a little bit of issues jumping on and editing the city's website with our staff. We're working on getting a lot of project information, project FAQ sheets, everything that we can put up there for public updates are going to be on there as soon as we can. I think we're a couple of days from making that live. And that's just an example of what's typically on there. There's also usually frequently asked questions, very similar to what the city has put up there in the past. But if there's specific things that we'll put on there for a project regarding alleys or so, we'll add that to that website update. And that's the summary of the projects that I had listed in there. There's probably more projects happening. These are the ones that I was listing there before I do my second presentation.
Mr. Chairman, if I might add a point of information, I've had questions raised and complaints about other areas in the city where streets need to be repaired and things of that nature, and people have not fully understood. These grants were made to the city from ARPA funds that were available to the state some years ago, and it's rapidly coming to a close. I believe we've been advised we need to have everything into the state by the end of September because they have to close out and be done with the feds by the end of December. So this isn't discretionary money, and it wasn't money just to do streets and stuff where we just chose to do that as opposed to some other areas. The money was targeted to where there were water and sewer lines and so forth that needed repair. And of course, to get to them, you got to go through the street, and then you got to replace the street.
When you're doing a street repair or replacement, if a street is unusually narrow, do you guys put it back to the size it was, or do you expand, i.e., Pearl, Superior, 900 block of Jennings?
It depends on if we're resurfacing it by itself. If we're doing a mill and resurfacing, we're only taking 1.5 to 2 inches off the top surface. So obviously, those footprints stay the same. What we have done on the past projects is always evaluated if you're going to allow on-street parking or not on-street parking, and that usually dictates the width. For example, on McAllister, and I think McAllister is a good example, that got widened a couple feet because it was so narrow there. But I don't think we widened it enough to do on-street parking. So we are looking at normal lane widths in that, and we were going to make sure that it meets those criteria of either the minor street or local street or major street. So, yep.
So I guess my question is, over the years, all this completed work here, when you're doing an inch of asphalt, there's no base and there's no surface asphalt. And now we have piano keys in our street. I don't know where they think that's okay, but it's not okay to me. I think we deserve the right to have our roads smooth in Ben Harbor, not no piano keys. You took it out, you should replace it correctly with base asphalt, with surface asphalt. How come that's not been done in Ben Harbor?
Which streets are you referring to exactly?
All the streets in Ben Harbor that y'all been doing?
All the reconstruction, the full reconstructions here?
From the sewer lines to
Yep.
the water line
Pipestone-
replacement?
Yep.
None of them are done correctly. They little keys in the road. You can tell it. It's a hump, back up again, hump, and then y'all come back out to do it again, we fix. For example, the sinkholes, they're coming from the lead lines. It's proven fact, because I have seen it. So
I guess I need to know the specific
So
locations.
right now, we have Pearl and Empire. There's a sinkhole sitting there because when y'all disturb that foundation, it moves shift down. So now we have 5 potholes in Ben Harbor that's been ignored. And the potholes are going up and down.
Your first question was the reconstruction and not putting the proper pavement section down?
Correct.
All right. so-
That's, to me, that's dissatisfaction when a project costs $2 million and you only put an inch down.
So
It should be
can go through
2
that.
inches.
I can.
And 2 inches of base and surface.
I can, Pipestone had 12 inches of sand replaced, 8 inches of aggregate, and 6 inches of concrete pavement. McAllister, Pavone, and Broadway had 12 inches of sand, 8 inches of aggregate, and 4 and 5 inches of asphalt. I can show those cross-sections if I need to.
So why do we have potholes or piano keys in our roads?
That's where I'm asking the question. Are they on the recently finished projects or are they on different sections
No,
of
they are
street?
recently done, the lead
So-
lines. So you was here for the lead lines.
Okay, so on the lead lines, we are not replacing the entire roadway surface like we would be doing for a major road project.
Right, but they're
They're
not
only
buttered
putting-
up correctly. There are still humps in it.
So I need to know where those locations are, but I can
The
go
whole
back to
city
the
of Ben
record,
Harbor, 4.4 square miles.
but not these projects.
Correct.
Okay,
So when
so,
y'all do a road, trust me, I'm watching.
okay,
And when you surface a road with crushed concrete, you're not rolling it. They just dump it, they grade it, that's it. You're supposed to roll it and lock it,
Right.
then put down 2 inches of surface asphalt, 2 inches of asphalt, but that's not been done.
I can look
They
at,
just put down the millings, run with it, and they out of here.
so I can look at that. I don't have that information
Because I
in front of
called
me.
you a year and a half ago.
Okay,
I can go with my emails. You showed up, they came out. I said, hey, why this road not done correctly? You had the other contract come out there and they did it for me. That was Jenny's, Monroe, and all in that area on Cross.
yeah,
There was 3 streets because I told you I'm gonna wait until you come out there. And I
Okay.
waited.
was I out there?
You was.
Okay, all right, I'll have to look at those.
I got my camera and pictures.
Yep. If you can pass those along to the city manager, that's fine.
I'm passing on to you.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. I don't have that information, I just have the information on these sewer projects today.
So moving forward, would these roads be corrected? Like, for example, Jenny's off of Main and going up to Cross, will it be done correctly? Not no half-done job, we're gonna get the white lines in the road and all that as well?
On the Jennings project that I just presented,
Correct.
it's a full reconstruct, so
Are you
yes.
sure?
Yes, the road is no longer there right now.
Okay. I know it's not there because I live in the area, but I'm tired of seeing Ben Harbor roads mistreated. Where that we get people in here to do the job, not done correctly. I watch all night long. So they have not been done correctly.
If I could get some examples,
I'll show you. We'll go for a ride.
Okay, yeah. Like I mentioned before, a patch that's as big as this table for a water service replacement is different than a full reconstruction project. They're matching the existing surface. So if the existing surface is only got 2 inches of asphalt or 3 inches of asphalt, that's what they're matching. It's hard for them to fill more in a patch. A patch is never going to ride the same as a fully completed replacement.
When you ride down any street in Harbor, such as Union, literally, the surface, there is a pothole that sits there. It's a buckle because it's not adding up correctly. I did asphalt for a whole year. I just did a whole foundation for my house, so I know what I'm doing, and I don't see flat surface in our road.
So at the time of the lead service replacement project, we also understood that eventually the city would have to possibly resurface some of those streets because the state did not allow us to resurface major block to block. They only allowed us to replace the asphalt that would have been required for the water service patch. So, but yeah, so let's take a look at them and see if there's something that can be done to them.
Okay, so these roads today will be done correctly. I won't see no potholes. I won't see no standing water. Guarantee, right? Do we have a warranty on this up here?
You have a 1-year warranty on these. If you want something more, then the contractor will have to, you'll be paying for it.
Okay.
So yes, I see warranties on MDOT projects close to $500,000 to $1 million on projects. So you could get warranties on them. But you also have to keep in mind that the road needs to be completely maintained at all times, completely, sewer cleaned, everything else needs to be checked on it. That's where you're getting a lot of your failures on if this road is subject to any drainage problems or anything that, causes water to infiltrate the roadway. But this is what I have for the sewer funding projects today. Yep.
I'd just like to put you on a little hot seat about a couple of other things. Jennings and Pavone has always had a historical drainage sewage problem. Is any of these projects going to take care of that? I mean, every time over the years they've called me, didn't get a call this year. So I'm not sure, but I'd like to make sure I don't get a call this year. Pavone, they always have backup there at Jennings. And they tell me it's because of the lift station at Jennings, but I'm not sure. Over the years, they've said that.
The only thing I can say is the McAllister, Pavone, and Broadway project from last year replaced a section of sewer on Pavone. It did not address the connecting sewer to Jennings lift station. So it was just replacing of the Pavone sanitary sewer. If you're talking sanitary, I think you are.
Yes. Yes, I am.
So yes, the section, all of Pavone likely needs to happen. And the funding package only provided the block that we did replace on Pavone, Broadway and McAllister.
So the 1100 dead end didn't get.
I don't believe the dead end of Pavone.
Oh
South
my,
end, the south
you mean
end.
I'm going to get calls again about sewage backup in these residents' house?
The other thing to consider, Commissioner, is also the city completed that televising and cleaning. So, by cleaning that sewer, maybe the calls did come down. But I'm also my next presentation is going to kind of tell the story of what's happening next.
Oh,
I see
what's
this,
happening next? Okay,
I
but
see the
what,
senatorial on this one here because greater community over on Nate Wells, they have flooding issues. And it's a handicap access right there, and that drain sit right there. I sent the email to the city manager's office per section 3.9, 3.10, nothing done. And so the church, Wheelchair Express, that's a violation of law, period. So I'm hoping that number 2 will help address that issue at that church, because right now, the city is in violation.
So I'll go through my presentation. I'll answer that quickly right now. It will not. This is a sanitary sewer asset management and sanitary sewer funding. It is not fixing storm sewer issues unless they're on the streets that are funded for sanitary sewer. And even that, the storm sewer improvements on those streets are only because if the sanitary sewer is deep enough, then the state will pay for the adjacent utilities to be replaced. So it's not a storm sewer asset management plan. It's a sanitary sewer asset management plan.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might, we have within the city a lot of these kinds of problems that have been there for years and years, and we're trying to, as we have resources and opportunities, try to correct them. Because complaints raised or we see them and know that they're there, that won't get it fixed necessarily. The money to do it. One that I had been looking at for years is right at the top of the hill there on Colfax, just before, right where it comes up the top of the hill and levels off, and before the other one goes down. I thought, I mean, as a layperson looking at it, you think that, well, it's that close to going downhill. Why didn't the water just, obviously you would think, open it up and the water's going to shoot downhill. That's not the way the sewers are laid in there. We find out that instead of the water going downhill, it's going back up toward the high school and some other way. And it gets up so far, fills up, and just doesn't go any faster. But we don't have the money to do anything about those right now. All we can do is try to keep them open as best we can.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, I'm going to go through, this is kind of what I was talking to city staff and the city manager on, really a preview, and just providing here what were the next steps. So I'm going to end up reading a little bit of the slides. It's kind of just regurgitating a little bit of what the city signed for their ACO a few years back. So this is my Benton Harbor Sanitary ACO Asset Management Plan update. So Administrative Consent Order, the ACO review. On July 27th, 2023, the City of Benton Harbor entered into an ACO agreement with the State of Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy, so that's EGLE. Compliance program requires that the City of Benton Harbor submit an update asset management plan, an AMP. This is what we refer to that as. The AMP is now due in June of the 30th of this year, so just a month away. In that sanitary sewer asset management requirements, the plan shall function to achieve the goals of effective performance. This is sanitary sewer only. Adequate funding and adequate operator and staffing and training to ensure proper operation and maintenance of the collection system. So these are the goals from EGLE to the city. Some of the key criteria. So they want to list the maintenance staff. Benton Harbor shall develop a staffing plan to identify adequate staff to operate, maintain, repair, and perform testing functions required to ensure the compliance with the state of Michigan. The level of staffing needed shall be determined by considering the work involved in operating the sewer system and planning for in conducting maintenance. Currently, the city uses F&V operations for operating and maintaining of the sanitary sewer system with assistance from DPW staff. As part of this asset management plan requirement, the city is required to update their collection system map. So the city shall create a map of its wastewater collection system that is sufficient in detail. The map shall show current conditions of the collection and be kept up to date and available for Eagles. So the mapping updates are approximately 90% completed. We've been verifying that and working with city staff on that. And just also remember that the city just completed that cleaning and televising portion of the Eagle grant, which really helps us out. So it identified anything that we had that was unknown. Mostly, it provided the city with the sewer condition of the pipes. So, so now you have the condition assessment of the pipes. Eagle requires the city to look at, basically inventory those assets and do an assessment of it. So Benton Harbor shall complete an inventory of the fixed assets. Their fixed assets are normally stationary, such as your wastewater collection system infrastructure, your lift stations, your gravity sanitary sewer. The inventory and assessment shall be based on current conditions and shall be kept up to date and available to review in Eagle. So the CCTV work that was completed last year, all that data is what's going to be used to develop these assessments. There's also some requirements of providing some business risk factors and criticality of fixed assets for the city to plan for any improvements. So business risk factors, what you're going to identify is, do you have sanitary sewers identified in the city that might, if they fail, it impacts more people? So things of that nature. So like the Riverview section is your furthest downstream end of your sewer system. If Riverview Drive's sanitary sewer system fails, well, then everything backs up kind of throughout the city. Is there, is there ones on Pavone that might end up having, a higher business risk factor that the city needs to make sure they continue to keep up and maintain on? So lastly, the operation, maintenance, and replacement budget. So as part of this plan, the city is required to review and provide budget and rates sufficient for the city's wastewater collection system, develop a replacement fund strategy of assets with usable life of 20 years or less. So a lot of the sewers in the city are, 75 years to 100 years old. Expenditures for maintenance, corrective actions, and capital improvements to be taken during the next fiscal year after the plan would be established. And then a rate calculation demonstrating that the city has sufficient revenues to cover operation, maintenance, and replacement. So those are everything that's going to be put into this report that's being submitted to the state at the end of June. So really just it's, this preview summary, you want an evaluation of the maintenance and staffing needs. You want to provide a thorough system collection map so that you have everything known in your assets in your system. You want to determine your criticality of sewers, sanitary sewer assets to prioritize your sewer maintenance and replacements. And then also you want to finalize any operation, maintenance, and replacement budgets. So I only brought this as a preview. My plan is to come to the next public safety meeting on June 10th and show some of the findings that we're working through on providing, the sewer map that shows any potential risk factors. We want to come here and show a little bit more of how the city maintains the sanitary sewer system with F&V operations information. So right now, I'm just wanted to let everybody know that this is ongoing, and we're working towards providing some new updates at the next meeting on June 10th, and then ultimately submitting this to the state before the requirement of the end of June. So,
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Jess.
I would like to add one comment. In what we were just talking about here, as a result of the camera system that Dukes Roots did and the cleaning and so forth of the sewers, we had provisions in the F&V contract for them to do a certain percentage of sanitary sewers each year. And because they've already been cleaned and done with camera, we asked them instead to do that percentage of storm sewers. And I mentioned that just last week in talking to Commissioner Kennard, that they will be shortly starting, we're targeting the specific ones that we know have problems, like you mentioned up by Community Church, up on Colfax, and a number of others, that they'll be going in and vacuuming out and cleaning those catch basins and the storm sewers.
I have a couple of questions. Now, first question to Deputy Clark. Is the old laptops in patrol cars, can they work inside public works vehicles where they can get work orders from out there?
There would be some equipment that they would need to have added to their cars. They probably would not last as long as we would like them to, so there would be some cost. And with the things that they do in and out and a lot of the dirt and stuff, I would probably put them on a 2-year life cycle maybe.
Gotcha, okay.
So, the computers that we're getting are partially rugged, so they're not fully rugged. For something like that, you'd want a fully rugged system. So there's a little bit of cost there. We can look into it and see what it would be, but I
No,
know
you
it's
could.
not gonna be cheap.
Okay. Well, the city manager stopped out. I had another question for him. But is there any other comments before I,
Ask it, ask the question. He had to go out, but.
she won't know my question? Yeah. Is there any other comments while the city manager stepped out for a second?
Oh, I thought it was returning to this or any other comment.
Any other comments?
Oh, yeah.
Can you come to the mic, please?
Okay. How you guys doing?
Blessed.
Good. I had a couple of concerns. One is, a question, and I guess I will address this to Deputy Clark. And it is about high-speed chasing in the city. Do we have a rule in the city about high-speed chasing? Like no high-speed chasing in the city unless it's like a murder or kidnapping or something like that? What's the rule for that, if there is one?
There is a policy, it's modeled after the International Association of Chiefs of Police policy for pursuits. There is a specific criteria. We have, like I said, a specific criteria that we follow. There is not a blanket prohibition on them, no.
So the last one that it was a high-speed chase a couple of weeks ago that actually damaged my office. Was that part, did that fit the criteria for them to do that, for them to chase those young men? Because they stole a car.
Correct, they stole the car. Which chase or which office are you talking about? There's been a few.
Pipestone.
On Pipestone and Beard.
Okay,
the
that
corner of
was
Pipestone.
within policy,
It was?
yes.
Okay. Secondly, I would like to ask about the Citizens Review Board, that every time I come, there's always pushing the can down the road. So I need to know what is going on with that. It was supposed to be on the agenda today. I don't know why it wasn't. It was a huge discussion about it last month. And we need to get this started as soon as possible. So I would like to ask if it could be on the agenda for next month for sure, and find out what it is that's holding us up. Now, I believe last month, the city manager mentioned
We don't have the money for it. My question is, what monies do we need to have, or do you guys need to have to get this board up and running? City manager?
Mr. Manager.
Recall having a discussion at the last meeting about the Citizens Review Board or any money.
Okay, nobody remember that? Okay,
I looked at the minutes. It showed the start of that conversation, but nothing in between or at the end. And from my remembrance, I asked that the Citizen Review Board be placed on the agenda for the next month. So I'm asking you to put it on the agenda for next month for discussion. And please, to bring up all the background, because this is something that's been pushed through the ringer for quite a while, and it went through the full body as well. So please provide that information so we can make a determination about the Citizen Review Board. Thank you.
I would like to know, am I the only one that had the conversation? Because I didn't have a conversation by myself.
It was a notes.
That we had a conversation, Robert Walker, yeah, him. I'm just saying, he said he don't remember, that's all I'm saying. He said he don't recall, which that seems to be an issue all the time. It's like, I don't recall, but I'm glad it's in the minutes. So it will be in the it will be in the minutes, the agenda next month?
Correct.
Okay, and we can talk about a timeline, because I feel like this has been 4 years, 5, 6 years since this have been approved, and nothing has been done. Applications were printed out. Things happen, I understand things change, but it's just been too long. And we need this Citizens Review Board for our residents and for our community.
Thank you. Before we close, we're done with
Is it anything about the review board, what would restrict citizens, say they had a felony? Is it anything that would restrict a citizen from the neighborhood to be able to, would it stop them from sitting on that board?
If there is that, I have to go back and check on that. If that is the case, I don't feel like ex-felons should be barred from that. Now, it doesn't have to be a requirement, but I don't feel like they should be barred from that. And if that's there, then we can make changes to that. So I'll have to go back and look at it, because the city manager at that time, Mr. Mitchell, and public safety director was involved in that process as well. So we'll go back and look at that, and we can revisit that. So with this process going forward, that could be something that we can look at to make sure that that's not the case, and if it is, we can do something about it. Oh, yeah, Okay, you're welcome.
So I thought we can wrap
Thank
this
you.
up. You're welcome. So we can wrap this up. I have a question for you, Mr. Little. So grass cutting, the city lots is still an issue. The cemetery, I know that goes to the cemetery board, but the cemetery before Memorial Day is not cut correctly.
I agree. I was out there today, and I'm contacting both the contractor and we'll be working on that.
Okay, thank you. My last one is, I can't say for sure. It was stated that the city of Ben Harbor sold its street vacuum that goes down and clean out the drains and all of that. Is that true?
Not to my knowledge, it's not, no.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I want to ask Benton Harbor Police if you have any vacant cars I went around to different communities and just a car sitting in the, vacant car sitting in the neighborhood causes people to restrain themselves. Do we have any vacant cars that could sit in key places?
Possibly. Once we get this transition done, we could probably do that. 6 years ago, in a different life and different uniform, we actually would put cars out on the street with a dummy in them to slow people down. So once I get the whole transition done, we'll look into it. I don't have enough cars right now to run shifts and do that, but once we get it done, that's not a bad idea. Also, too, the director's gone, he's not here, we can't touch on it with him, but we are currently working on an RFP for tow services. I'll be bringing it to Mr. Little soon, and then bringing it to the committee probably for June. We lost, one of the tow companies just went out of business, and so we have reevaluated that whole process. So you will see an RFP suggestion with some details, and we're going to talk about it at the next meeting in June, and then push that out publicly. So that is a process that's being evaluated, and there's some stuff going on with that. It's just not, it's not ready for prime time yet.
Are you saying that you want to have a in-house?
You said RFP.
I would love to. We explored that a couple years ago, if you remember. We're just not quite there, but there's some things that we want to touch on with our tow companies and some criteria that we need to make sure. And we'd also like to get a schedule of fees and have a solid locked-in information from every one of them. So that will be part of the RFP. Like I said, we've got to run it by Mr. Little first, make sure he's good with it, and then we'll bring it to the committee for the committee to review, and then go from there.
And the city attorney will be involved, correct?
Of course.
Okay. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned at 7:37.